Welcome to the last Pioneer Sideline of the semester. We have a great show ahead. We will start our coverage on the field talking about baseball and softball teams and how they have done in their recent action. Then we will cover the hot topics in local and national sports. From there, we'll be making our own NFL mock drafts with a few of our own reporters. Then we'll finish the show as we always do with a round of the Pioneer reporters. So are you ready to head on down to the Pioneer Sideline? Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Kyle Anthony, hosting for one final time. We'll start the show off on the field, talking Point Park baseball with our baseball insider, Josh Krupp. So Josh, what's the scoop this week?
Thanks, Kyle. Hey, we're in the final stretch of the season and quickly approaching the KIAC tournament. The next 2 weekends for this Point Park baseball team, like last weekend, feature some key four-game KIAC series that could determine where the Pioneers stand come tournament time. Back to last weekend now. Point Park hosted Rio Grande for a four-game series last Friday and Saturday. The Red Storm entered this series trailing Point Park by 1 game in the standings. Point Park needed to split or win the series to stay ahead of Rio Grande in the KIAC. Rio Grande was out for blood early. The Red Storm put up a 5 spot in the first inning off Point Park starter Jason Kim. Kim allowed 9 runs throughout his 5 innings of work and 15 hits as the Pioneers dropped Game 1 9-2. The Point Park bats were quiet for the most part in Game 2 as well. Only 4 hits were all the Pioneers needed, though, to tally 5 runs on the afternoon, which included a 2-run home run by Demetrius Moorer. The 5th run came in the bottom of the 7th inning as Andy Chacon hit a sacrifice fly to center field to allow Moorer to score the winning run. Point Park split Day 1. Day 2 didn't start off well for the Pioneers either. Rio Grande tabbed starter Anthony Garofalo for 6 runs over 3 1/3 en route to a 12-1 victory. Rio Grande's 7-run 4th inning included a 3-run home run off reliever Keenan Smith. Point Park's lone run came in the first inning, and the Pioneers only tallied 4 hits in the loss. Point Park stuck with Rio Grande for much of Game 2 Saturday, though. The two teams entered the 6th inning tied at 5. Point Park right fielder Logan Linder caught a fly ball in right field in the top half of the 6th. Rio Grande's Cameron Herring was tagging from third base and slid past Point Park catcher Daniel Sanchez to give Rio a 6-5 lead. Except replay showed Herring was out by about 3 feet in front of home plate. Moorer walked the lead off the bottom half of the 6th and later scored on a Hernandez RBI single up the middle. Now with 2 outs left in the 7th, and Linder on first, Filimon Perez steps up to the plate, hits a ground ball to third. Now instead of throwing to first, third baseman Darian Lewis throws to second base to try and get Linder, but instead throws the ball into right field. That's when right fielder Kirk Yates throws a ball into third in an attempt to get Linder, but misses his target, allowing the winning run to score. Point Park escaped somehow with a 7-6 victory and ended up splitting the series with Rio Grande. Now back to Wednesday, Point Park hosted non-conference NCAA Division II school Seton Hill. The top 5 hitters in the Point Park lineup went a combined 1 for 20 as Seton Hill defeated Point Park 7-3 in 9 innings. Point Park tested 6 different pitchers before the final Fuchs KIAC series to figure out this starting pitching rotation. The game with Seton Hill was number 40 on the year for the Pioneers, who currently sit at 20-20 with a 13-7 KIAC record, good for 3rd in the conference.
Now, Josh, you brought up this team that was trying to find pitching. What can this team do to find a solid 3 and 4 starter?
It's tough, man. You got Jason Kim at the front of the rotation, and even he was rocky in that first game against Rio Grande. Pitching is hit or miss with this team, and trying to figure out what we're doing on the back end, whether it's with Ben Jarbo or with Emil Abreu. Those are the 2 guys fighting for that 4 spot, and they both had iffy outings against Seton Hill. Abreu had a rough 3rd inning where he gave up a 3-run home run, and then he had a nice 1, 2, 3, 4th. But besides that, the pitching's really up in the air for this team. getting solid pitching going forward is going to be pretty important for them if they want to even have a chance at this KIC tournament.
Now, how important is it for this team to find more consistent offense? Because as you talked about against Seton Hill, the top of this lineup went 1 for 20. What can they do to be more consistent?
Yeah, and the consistency we've been lacking really has been coming from the bottom half of the lineup. Those bottom 3 or 4 guys haven't really produced all season. Then against Seton Hill, the top half of the lineup that you've relied on all season goes 1 for 20, and the bottom half produces. The two need to mesh together. It's as simple as that. Demetrius Moore has been carrying the team, hitting like .460 in his past 12 games. I went 0 for 5 against Seton Hill. That can't happen. The top of the lineup has to be consistent, and you need some production from the bottom half. You balance out the two, and you got a good lineup going for you.
Thanks, Josh. Next, we will go to the softball team, who is surging at just the right time. So I will turn it over to young gun Mike Turk to throw us a fastball of knowledge.
The softball team won 7 out of 8 games this past week, going back to last Wednesday when they traveled to Ohio Christian. In the 2-game series, Brittany Ziegler went yard twice, and pitcher Ashley Ignema tossed a 2-hitter and had 9 strikeouts to contribute to the sweep of Ohio Christian, winning Game 1 6-0, and then winning Game 2 by a final score of 4-1. The Pioneers then came back home to play a 2-game series with both Midway and Asbury. The first game against Midway was smooth sailing for the ladies as they won 6-2. The night game started out with the Pioneers jumping out to an 8-2 lead in the bottom of the second. But then the Eagles came back in the top of the third with an RBI double, single, and a 3-run home run to tie the game at 8. Point Park regained the lead in the bottom of the third by adding 2 more runs, but in the top of the fourth, Midway got those 2 runs right back, tying it up at 10. The Pioneers answered with 3 runs in the bottom of the fourth and never looked back. Adding on 2 more runs, Point Park won by a final score of 15-10. The next day, they played Asbury at home with Ashley Ignema getting the start again. She gave up 2 hits and struck out 12 in her outing to help Point Park win 6-0 in the first game. In the second game, Point Park kept the bats hot, winning 15-7. The Pioneers then traveled to Erie, PA for a non-conference doubleheader against Gannon. Every starting batter recorded a hit in the first game, but they couldn't seem to get hits with runners in scoring position, and they dropped Game 1 5-2. In Game 2, Hannah Harley pitched 5 innings, only giving up 4 hits and 1 run. And the bats came back to life, especially Kim Cochran, who went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs to help Point Park win 7-3. Point Park currently holds a 10-4 KIAC record and sits in 3rd place behind Rio Grande and IU Southeast in the conference.
So, young gun, how important is it for Hannah Harley to pitch more consistently the rest of the way through the season?
It's going to be huge. You can't have Ignema being the only ace coming out to pitch every game. Having that second pitcher takes a little pressure off of Ashley, and I think Harley is heating up at the right time as we get closer to the end of the season. So this is huge for the Pioneers right now, Kyle.
Now, how impressive has the Pioneers' offense been?
They've been very impressive, especially as of late. They struggled earlier in the year at the plate, but now you got someone like Brittany Ziegler who's heated up. She had 2 home runs in 2 games last week, and Kim Cochran, another one who is heating up, really hitting well with runners in scoring position. This team is getting hot at the right time. Expect them to make a deep run into the playoffs this year.
Thanks, Mike. When we get back, Trevor Sheets has an update on the Penguins' first-round playoff matchup against the Rangers, and I will let you know what ESPN analyst got the boot and for what.
We are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
All right, guys, any questions on script? Are we good to go?
Yep, right. Should be good.
All right, great. All right, yeah, camera 3 set up right there. Camera 2. Use the ball when you're moving this around, but set up for the 2 shots just right there. Weather, how we doing?
It gon' rain.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Sarah Mackin with you. The real host, Adrian Billon, was seen snuggled up.
All right, prompter. We got everything in. We're good to go? Key Pro, everything loaded. We're good to go? All right. Tyler, any questions?
That shot looks fine.
3, 2, 1. Bring up camera 2. Open mics. Cue talent.
Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Blaine King.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Aubrey Henkin.
And I'm Aaron Myler.
And this is Entertainment on Point.
Beyonce has surprised us again.
Kanye West just tweeted.
This was a huge weekend at the box office.
A fan favorite TV show just got canceled. Guess what band is coming to the city? And the award went to.
But did you see her engagement ring?
Her outfit was awful.
I would fire her stylist.
Tune in for all of your Hollywood gossip and pop culture news.
Entertainment on Point.
Get into the point of pop culture.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm Trevor Sheets with your regional sports report. The top story locally is, of course, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Through the first 3 games of their series against the New York Rangers, the Penguins lead 2-1, with the Pens taking Game 1 by a score of 5-2. Last Saturday, New York took advantage of multiple defensive errors by the Penguins to win the game 4-2. The series then shifted to Madison Square Garden for Game 3 on Tuesday, and with that, the Pens saw the return of one of their goaltenders. Matt Murray, who was supposed to be the starting goalie for Games 1 and 2, returned to the ice Tuesday night after recovering from a head injury he received in the series finale versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Murray was up to the task, allowing 1 goal on 16 shots. The offense took it from there. After going down 1-0 early in the second, the Pens found the equalizer late in the period when Sidney Crosby deflected a pass from Phil Kessel into the net. Matt Cullen then gave the Pens the lead when he scored on a breakaway in the third period. Chris Letang added an empty net goal to give the Pens a 3-1 victory. Game 4 is Thursday night, at 7 p.m. in Madison Square Garden. The Pirates are in the midst of a West Coast road trip, and the other side of the country has not been too kind to the Buccos. Before starting a weekend series in Phoenix with the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Pirates stopped in San Diego to play the Padres. San Diego took the first 2 games of the series, winning the first game by a score of 5-4. That game saw the return of starter Francisco Liriano, who only went 4 1/3 innings, giving up 4 runs in the process. Game 2 was not much better for Pittsburgh, losing by a score of 8-2. Starter Jeff Locke was only able to go 3 innings, giving up 8 runs in the process, half of those coming in the second inning. After the series with Arizona this weekend, the Pirates will wrap up the trip with a stop in Denver to face the Colorado Rockies. And it may only be April, but football is always a conversation here in Pittsburgh, especially once the NFL has released this season's schedule last week. The Steelers start their season on Monday, September 12th, when they travel to Washington, D.C. to face the Washington Redskins. It gets interesting from there for the Black and Gold, where they host the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 2, which will be a rematch of that ugly AFC wildcard game where the Bengals basically handed the game to the Steelers with some bad personal foul penalties. Some other games of note include hosting the Patriots in October as well as the Cowboys in November. The Steelers will also play on all 3 major holidays to end the year. Pittsburgh travels to Indianapolis on Thanksgiving, hosts the Baltimore Ravens on Christmas, and then again hosts the Cleveland Browns to end the season on New Year's Day. Now to take a look at some national headlines, let's go over to Kyle with National Sports.
Let's talk about the NHL playoffs, which, well, our bracket's not doing so good. All 3 of our Western Conference teams are in danger of getting knocked out. You have the Ducks, who are down 2-1. We have the Kings down 3-1, and of course, Phil Popore's Chicago Blackhawks are down 3-1. But it's okay. The Western Conference play has shown us how important it is to have consistent offense. Offense is what is carrying these teams. And on the other side in the East, it's been chalk. Now, we'll go from hockey to the cage, where UFC fighter Conor McGregor said he was going to retire. Well, earlier today, he broke that he's not retiring. I think it's a nice publicity stunt for McGregor, and I think it is going to draw more views for UFC 200 if they keep him in the slot But I think there still is a chance that Dana White could pull him out because Dana White doesn't like power trips against him. Then we'll go to Curt Schilling, the ESPN analyst who got fired for posting a meme against transgenders. This is not Curt Schilling's first trip in hot water. Curt Schilling said some other controversial statements which have got him in hot water. Curt Schilling, you are a public figure. You cannot be saying things that are that absurd. So, Curt, sayonara, we're probably not going to miss you. Well, we'll probably see you at a Diamondbacks reunion tour with Randy Johnson, because isn't that what you're remembered by? When we get back, we bring on some of our reporters, and we are going to do the official Pioneer Sideline mock draft.
Here on the Pioneer Sideline, we talk a lot about sports in the studio, but it's beforehand when the conversation is actually interesting.
I hope I have enough powder on. I don't want to be too shiny on camera.
No, Trevor, I think it looks good every week you pull it off.
Ah, thanks, Phil. Man, your hair looks great tonight, by the way.
You sure? Yeah, I mean, I got a new haircut, but it looks alright.
Hey guys, does this make me look fat?
No, you look great. You look good. Yeah, Kyle.
Thanks, I was really...
Sports, yeah!
Ever wanted to be behind the mic and have the world listening to your show on campus? Well, it's just as simple as joining WPPJ, Point Park's student-run radio station, located on the second floor of Lawrence Hall, right next to the dining services. Listeners can tune in using Point Park's website or through the TuneIn app by searching WPPJ. WPPJ welcomes any new DJs that want to get involved, so be heard. Do you have what it takes?
Well, no one showed up to the show tonight. Follow my lead. In 3, 2, take 2, open mics, cue talent. Good evening and welcome to UView News. I'm Josh Krupp. We begin with breaking news out of West Penn Hall. Ready, 3, take lower third. Traffic is backed up in the West Penn elevator line after elevator 1 broke down on the 7th floor. Lose lower third. Maintenance advises students to take the stairs to avoid delays. Ready, 2, take 2. In other news, no, you know what? I didn't sign up for this. We need crew. Join UView. Take alien hand transition.
The draft card's in, and the talent we brought out for the Pioneer Sideline mock draft: Trevor Sheets, Tyler Cahill, and El Presidente, Lane King. Well, I'm gonna announce my top 5 first, then you guys can tell me where I screwed up, because I always seem to mess up somehow.
It's my favorite thing to do.
With the first pick in the draft, I have Jared Goff going to the Rams. I have Carson Wentz from North Dakota State going to the Philadelphia Eagles. I have Laramie Tunsil, offensive tackle, from Ole Miss, going 3 to the Chargers. Number 4, I have Ezekiel Elliott, running back, The Ohio State University, going to the Dallas Cowboys. And rounding out the top 5, I have Tyler Cahill's Jacksonville Jaguars taking safety cornerback, Jalen Ramsey. Where am I wrong?
All right, well, I'll start off right off the top. You have your quarterbacks flip-flopped.
Oh.
I like Wentz so much more than Goff. But I'm a little biased. I love big quarterbacks. He's bigger, stronger, and that's what you want out of a quarterback. I know he's from FCS, so he's not going to have as much polish on it, but I like Wentz a lot more than Goff.
I don't know. With the Eagles trade that they make, they like Wentz a lot, and I think that
and the
Los
Rams
Angeles,
love Goff.
Excuse me, I want to call them St. Louis. Los Angeles, they're going to go with. I think they're going to go with Goff. So I think Kyle has the first 2 picks correct.
I think Goff is perfect for LA. LA is a big, flashy city. Goff is, he's a big name.
Yeah.
Wentz, who knows? No one knows who this guy is.
True, but it doesn't matter. You're putting together a team, not flashy names.
Well, LA's different. These
and that's
guys,
why they never succeed.
But it's their last strike. Fisher will get fired, or if they have another season like they did this year, not this year, if they get in the top 10 again.
Now, I know we were talking before the show how the Dallas pick, you guys didn't agree with me. I have Ezekiel Elliott there just because I know Jerry Jones. I know you have it.
I have it because Jerry Jones makes those kind of. He doesn't make the Al Davis pick, but like 2 steps down from Al Davis, he makes those kinds of picks. And I think Ezekiel Elliott's that pick.
I don't. Part of me wants to say that the Eagles moved up just to get Elliott.
I mean, they do love him.
And they need a running back.
I would not be. It would not shock me if they take Elliott over Wentz or Goff, whoever's on the board, because Dallas, they were flirting with Elliott, and Elliott said that he would love to play for the Cowboys. So that wouldn't shock me, but I think somebody like a Joey Bosa or a Shaq Lawson is going to go to the Cowboys instead. They need some pass rush.
If they moved up all those picks just to get a running back, they sold so much
Blaine
for a running back.
Blaine will be burning the couch.
I'm not happy they traded up from 8
I could not see them doing that. I think they're getting a quarterback with that number 2 pick. There's no way they're
Or
going
a
to
lineman. I'm joking.
All right, so let's talk about the slot that San Diego and Dallas are in. San Diego is still flirting with trading out. In Dallas, you know, they're always listening to something. How important are those picks for what happens the rest of the way through the draft?
Oh, I mean, they're huge. I think the Chargers would be better off trading that pick. They need, just like Cleveland did with the Philly trade, they need more picks. They need to build a lot of, a line on both sides, defense and offense, and I think they'd be best suited to do that. And if the Dallas, I would not surprise me if they just moved up that spot.
I think Dallas should stay where they are. San Diego, I feel, controls the draft. They have so many options. They can have 4 Pro Bowlers, I think, in this draft in the first 10 picks. But it depends what they do. If they decide to trade out, I think that's a great move on their part. If they decide to stay, I think that's also a great move.
Yeah, I think that their main thing is they have to protect Phillip Rivers going into these next few years. He's older. He's not a mobile quarterback. So I think drafting Laramie Tunsil is not a bad idea, but trading out will actually be a smarter idea too, because they'll get those picks. They'll get more picks and can add more depth.
All right, now let's talk about 2 very interesting prospects. We had a couple medical rechecks this weekend that could affect the first round. We had Jalen Smith from Notre Dame. They're saying his knee's going to be no good for next year, and the nerve damage might never come back. Scouts are saying that Miles Jack, a linebacker from UCLA's knee, could be a ticking time bomb, and you don't know when it's going to go out again. And you had Shaq Lawson, who actually got a passing grade in his shoulder. They said it's really good. How important for those 3 guys was it to hear those reviews?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. We were discussing it before. Shaq Lawson is shooting up draft charts because he was cleared. And he's a great player. It's well deserved. But yeah, I mean, any kind of medical ailment is always going to kind of get a couple people a little skittish.
I think Miles Jack, even if he is injured and he's not 100%, I say he doesn't get out of the top 10. But if he's healthy and that thing was just a rumor, the leg, he's going 4 or 5. The Jaguars, the Cowboys, they both love him. I think if he's healthy, he's the best defensive lineman or defensive player.
Same. I think Miles Jack, as long as it can stay healthy, nothing is too bad with it. Top 10 pick, top 5 at best, maybe even top 3. On the other side for Smith, I actually.
That's so.
It's unfortunate.
You feel bad for him.
Yeah. I honestly do not see him getting drafted.
I can see somebody taking a late flyer on him, but we'll go from him to name one player who's going to be a sleeper in the first round. Then it's going to fly under the radar. Just name the player. Start with you, Mr. King.
I don't know. You know, I'm gonna say Paxton Lynch. I think he's gonna go higher than everybody else thinks. He's supposed to go in the 20s. I think somebody's gonna take him early.
I got Noah Spence. Yes, he has those issues, but his talent is so incredible. He could be a top 5 talent.
Oh, late first round, I don't know. I mean, my sleeper is a guy that is going to probably go much later in the draft. It's going to be a homer pick.
Oh, I know who you're going. I was going to say him too.
Tyler Boyd. I love Tyler Boyd. He's a multifaceted athlete. He can play. He's a great receiver. He did great and very competitive ACC. I think he's going to be a great pick for any team that grabs him the 2nd, 3rd day.
I'm going to go Sua Cravens, linebacker safety from USC. I think he's one of those flex guys, and I think he's a little more of a flex guy than we saw with Miles Jack. I think he's athletic. I think he's a good tackler, and I think he can learn coverage and space, and I think he'd be a great fit in Minnesota with Anthony Barr. Thanks, guys. After our last break, we will finish off the semester strong with our final round of reporters.
Did you know that Point Park has a cheerleading squad?
Don't stop. Don't get it confused.
Not only do our cheerleaders represent Point Park at regional and national competitions, but they also promote spirit and awareness of every sports team on campus. Come to any men's or women's varsity basketball game at home to watch the cheerleaders perform at halftime and cheer from the sidelines from the first jump ball to the final buzzer. Sports not your thing? You can catch the cheer team lead the crowd at the fall and spring pep rallies as well, or at several competitions around Pittsburgh each year. So what are you waiting for? Show the Point Park cheerleaders the support they show you.
Every human being has a purpose, has a dream to have their voices heard, no matter where they come from, no matter where they go. As an American, it is their right to have freedom of speech. I have a dream that one day this message will speak louder than words, that even the quietest voice will not go unnoticed. That is my dream. What is yours? For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Well, it's time for our last round of reporters. I'm joined by Blaine King, Sarah Macklin, and Brittany Law for making her second appearance of the season. So, guys, we're going to start off talking about Conor McGregor retiring, then not retiring. What do you think this is all about?
I'm so confused. I hope he just makes up his mind. Either retire or not retire.
It's just like he says he's fed up with all the promotional aspects of UFC fighting.
Yeah.
He just wants to worry about fighting. Well,
you're in a professional league.
Yeah, you're a professional. Like Brittany, we talked about this earlier. You're a
public
professional
figure. By putting yourself in that position, you become a public figure, which means you're entitled to media. You know that if you're going to be a professional in any sport, you're going to have to deal with the media. It's part of your job. So just suck it up and do it like everyone else does.
and he's being a hypocrite by announcing all this over social media.
Sure.
I think it was actually a publicity stunt for himself. Listen,
Just to get in the news again.
He's trying. That's what he is. He's the UFC big draw right now till John Jones fights after a suspension. So I think this is all to get more views for that Nate Diaz fight. He's gonna end up doing the publicity, or he's gonna have to pay some fine, which he doesn't care about. He's made enough money the past couple of fights. Now we're gonna go from the octagon to, should Chris Letang have been suspended for his little stick to face action in Game 3?
I don't know. I mean, I saw it, and at first I missed it, and then I saw it again, and it was deliberate. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be a homer and say, like, oh, he barely did it. He smacked him in the face with a stick. But it wasn't called. And so, therefore, I don't think he should have been suspended for it. If it was called, yeah, maybe 1-2 game suspension, because I think it was that much of a kind of dirty play, but it wasn't called.
I agree with that. Yeah, if you're not going to call it, then how can you suspend someone for it after the fact?
Yeah, I didn't see it live. I saw it on replays. And, I mean, at first you're like, did he really just do that on purpose? But then it was like, yeah, he kind of did that on purpose. I mean, it is the playoffs. I'm not going to lie. Just let him be.
Okay, I guess I'm going to be the polar opposite. I think he should have been suspended. If we're going to have the standard that people are going to be suspended for using slurs, for taking shots in the back, I think this should be held in the same respect. If you're going to play dirty, you need to be punished. I know that it's a big series. I know he's a big name. But he did slap him in the face with a stick. Now we'll go to, do you agree with the Eagles trading up to the number 2 slot? Blaine, we'll start off with you.
No.
Well, that's a really direct answer. Sarah, let's go to you.
Yeah, I don't agree with it just because I understand they want a quarterback. Sam Bradford isn't the greatest, but he's not bad. Exactly. He's not that bad. And I just think they gave up way too much for it. I mean,
don't even get me started on
third,
that
fourth round, this is going to hurt them this season with the loss of picks that they have.
It could help though. Like, I mean, if they really can get a strong quarterback from it, if they can get someone that can really boost the team up, get them some points on the scoreboard, then it might end up being a good thing in the long run.
But the quarterback's not going to play.
You have a good point. I just don't know why they would do it. There's just not enough time for me to go on. I just don't agree with it.
Well, I don't have
to stay at 8.
I don't have to say anything else. I think Cleveland did a great job, and I never applaud the Browns, but good job, Browns.
Why do I have a feeling, though, they're going to screw this up somehow, some way again?
Listen, let them live for the moment. They need to get a victory somewhere. All right. Where should Josh Norman go? He got cut I don't really agree with the Panthers doing this. I say you keep the dream team together one last time, but what do you guys say?
I have no idea where he's going to go. At first, when I was thinking about this topic, I thought, and he was a free agent, I thought there was no way they were going to let him go. And then, shocked today, they let him go to free up cap space. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the entire league. I mean, I don't know where he's going to go, but wherever he does go, he's going to make an impact.
I agree it was a bad decision. Like, they should have kept him. Yeah, he was a little strong-headed and whatnot, but he was such a strong cornerback and a good leader that he really could hold the team together.
Yeah, I just don't know. The Panthers, I know their general manager didn't want to, like, argue with them, but I just don't get it. One team, though, to watch out for, and it's the hometown favorite, the Steelers.
No, listen, the Steelers officially announced they're out. They're just throwing their name in. He ain't going to take no 1 year, $11 million deal. I think he'll go to Tampa or somewhere. And I actually agree with Tampa with Carolina letting him go. You want to know why? You know how many corners there are in the NFL that are over the age of 30?
I don't even know that.
I read it today. It's 2 or 3. So Josh Norman's is 29 right now. That means next year, I think they should have kept him this year. Then let him walk. Let him go get ripped off somewhere else. All right. Everybody gets one say. Who should the Steelers draft? Brittany.
I think they need to draft a good running back. I don't have a person in mind, but like with Le'Veon Bell's injury, he's so injury prone. He has had 2 knee injuries. They need someone just to even have a backup. So I think that's where I'm rooting for it, and I don't think they're going to do that right away. It's something I could see, and that's why I don't think they'd get any big names, but it's something they need, a strong one.
I'm going cornerback. They lost Allen and Boykin. They have one of the worst pass defenses in the league. So, I mean, obviously they're not going to get Ramsey. I don't think he's going to go before they even get the chance, but maybe Hargreaves or Apple, one of the two maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Apple. That's who I think they should draft. Will they draft him? Highly doubt it. They'll probably go with a linebacker, a defensive lineman, or an offensive lineman. And Pittsburgh Steelers fans are going to be like, what the heck? So they got to go corner. Secondary. Yeah. Secondary, that's all you need.
I want Mackenzie Alexander, a defensive tackle. I'd love to see Alshon Robinson or Mackenzie Alexander. All right, so this is the final sideline. I'd like to bring on the producer of the show, the one that really makes the show work. Because I'm just a pretty face. This is Zach Aaron. He does everything. He gets make sure everything runs cohesively. He's the one that makes sure this show actually goes on.
That's not true. It's the crew. It's all the crew. I do absolutely nothing.
Now, as the plane says, this envelope's telling Blaine he will be the next host of the sideline. And now we are getting. So Blaine, the keys will get passed down to you. This IFB will go to you.
And but you might leave me on Daybreak.
No, I'm going to continue to host Daybreak until the final show.
You might just want to wash the earpiece off first.
I'll do that. But,
no, I know you're leaving in good hands, and I'd like to thank all of you at home. I'd like to especially thank the crew. You guys have been wonderful. You guys have been a pleasure to have, and you guys have made this the best Pioneer sideline of my life, and some of the best times. And you guys are just wonderful, amazing people. So join Blaine next year at the same Pioneer time. Same Pioneer place, and of course, same Pioneer sideline.